Hey everybody, just a couple minutes late on this 24th day of June. Yay, it's summertime, right? June 24th. And we're here to talk about syncing. And the way the title of this webinar was put out there was, what are you syncing about? And whenever you hear a name like that, probably I'm the one who came up with it. You know, I was talking to one of my friends who was of German descent earlier, said, so what are you making fun of people with German? So, oh, you think this is a good idea? No, I was just a play on words for thinking. That's all it is. And see how I did that? Thinking. So that's what this whole broadcast, this webinar is about, is basically making different devices synchronize. And we all know that there are some big companies out there that do a fantastic job, with the Macintosh and all the things Apple with the handoff and continuity settings and things like that do a great job. But for those of you who don't, know about any of that, we've also got, if you don't have a Mac or Apple devices, or maybe you have a mix of devices like I do, and I'm going to be showing you. So we're going to be doing a whole mix of showing how we can synchronize content on the iPhone, on the Windows computer, on the Polaris mostly. And really mostly this is about how we can share data with our other devices and the Polaris. One example of synchronization that a lot of you are already aware of, when you go to set up an email account, you've got a choice of either POP3 or IMAP. And the POP3 option would be the kind of synchronizing. I mean, you can keep things on the server for a specified amount of time before they get removed, and but what I love about IMAP is that, I've got 4 or 5 different devices, and when I want to delete a single email from an account, it goes away everywhere. So that's one example. And of course, those of you who are Polaris users are aware.
Thomas Simpson joined.
Oh, Thomas has joined the meeting. Oh. Those of you who are aware of the Polaris and our Google Drive integration, some of you might be enjoying that functionality, and Thomas is going to show us a little bit about that. Another player in the syncing world is Dropbox. Thomas will also be talking about that a little bit later. And so here's the difference, and we got one more that we're going to talk about, and that's OneDrive. So here are the difference between the three. Google, when you set up a Google account and with Gmail address and everything, you get 15 gig of free space, that's a lot of space for free. I mean, what do we want for nothing? That is a lot of space for nothing. And if you're using things like Sheets and Docs, and you're creating things in the kind of the Google world, those file formats actually don't even count against your space. It's only the files and the photos and the music and things like that you upload that actually count against that 15 gig. Now, Dropbox, they've been around for a long time. Oh, I think I signed up for my Dropbox account about, 15 years? No, something like that. It was back then, like 12 years ago, I think. And back then you got about 2.5 gig of space, which back then was like, wow, that's a lot of space for free. But now you've got OneDrive, which is a Microsoft thing. That's, so you had 2 free things. You got Dropbox and Google Drive free, and they give you a pretty impressive amount of space. And of course, on both those platforms, you can update and get all kinds of space, more than you will ever need, for a fee. And with OneDrive, it actually just comes with the 365 subscription, a full terabyte, folks, of space when you set up a OneDrive account. So, all right, or when you set up a 365 account. So, one more thing we're going to be talking about today, and actually this is supposed to be first, but we're going to see. I'm going to check in with Jenny and see how things are going. How's things going, Jenny?
We're good to go.
All right. So First, let me go ahead and introduce you to our panelists today. Of course, I'm Earl Harrison. I'm the Midwest Regional Manager, who's been yapping for the last 5 minutes. And my West Coast counterpart, the guy at the controls over there in Oregon, is Thomas Simpson. Hi, Thomas. How you doing?
Hey, Earl. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm glad everybody's here joining us today.
Yeah, and we've got Jenny Axler coming all the way from Korea at her 6 a.m. in the morning versus 6 a.m. at night, right? How you doing, Jenny?
I'm good. I've had my coffee, so we're good to go.
Man. And we have with us also who won't have a part in the actual presentation, but might be interested in chiming in from time to time, usually, right? Mike Tyndall, how you doing?
Unmuted.
Hi, everybody.
Zoom.us has new window.
Don't be alarmed if you hear some popping going on if I speak today. Actually, I'm not prisoning in this webinar because our roof is being, I said ripped off. Somebody else said removed. And replaced. So
the technical term for that is tear off. They're doing a tear off.
Yes, a tear off. But one thing I do just quickly want to say, Earl, and we didn't really even talk about this, but another major one, and they've kind of made it more usable, especially if you're using a PC and you just copy and paste, is also Icloud Drive.
Oh, yes, of course.
That's another major.
But they only give you 5 gig.
Well, that's true, but I pay for the whatever. But anyway, it's great to be here, guys. Thank you all for joining us today. And you can count the times on one hand, but I'm going to be quiet probably for most of this webinar. So you guys take it away.
All right. Well, you be careful up there tearing off that roof. And with that, we will go ahead and turn it over to Jenny Axel, who's going to talk a little bit about exporting content from one thing to another that can be imported into Polaris. Hey, take it away, Jenny.
Okay. So actually, what I'm going to talk about is importing things from the U2, mainly contacts using CSV. We will talk a little bit about calendars. They're going to cover files. Earl's going to cover more about calendars. So my main focus is going to be on contacts, but I will also deal a little bit with Android and some of the automatic synchronization options. So the first thing I need to do is share my screen. Just a minute. Okay, so hold on. I wasn't. Okay, Thomas, are we seeing my Polaris screen?
Looking good.
All right, very good. Okay. So, as I said, I'm mainly going to focus on contacts. And if you are switching from the U2 to the Polaris, one of the first things that you're going to want to do is to import what you can. Most of your files can just be copied using the file manager. If you back them up and, connect a USB drive, you can transfer them that way, or an SD card, is even better. So that will work that way. But you will want to probably import your calendar and contacts and some of your other information. So what I want to talk about is using a CSV to do that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and open the organizer with O, address manager A, and address manager is the first item there. Let me slow down my speech a bit. Main volume 20. Oh, sorry. Voice rate 7. Okay. Press enter. Search address. Last name, edit box. Okay, and it placed me in the search address field. I currently have nothing in here. I'll press enter just to prove that. Searching. Record not found. Last name, edit box. So right now it's empty. And this is what you're going to get if you if you have a new Polaris and you haven't done anything yet. So I'm going to go to the menus by pressing F2. Add address, enter a menu item. And I'm going to go down. Set address search, import from CSV, C, dialog backspace, menu item. And this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to press enter here. Import from CSV dialog. Acapella voices folder 126 list item. Okay, and it placed me in the root of my flash disk. I'm going to go to the end because I want to, I've got a bunch of folders and I need to get to the files.
Contacts June 27th. Address 0 CSV 2526 list item.
And I have a couple of CSVs here. So when you back up a CSV either in the U2 or the Polaris, it's going to name it as like this, address.csv. And this just means that it is your address list and it is a CSV file. You can import from other CSV files, and I'll show you that in a second, but this is going to be the default BrailleSense CSV. So I'm going to press enter here.
Loading. File loaded. Import from CSV dialog. Last name 224 combo box.
So one of the reasons that I wanted to show you this is that this is where it gets confusing, or it can. It doesn't actually have to. And we even had a former tech support person say that, oh, this is hit or miss, it doesn't always work. And this really upset me. And this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to show this today, because that's actually not true. But it is a little bit confusing. And if you don't know, and this person doesn't work for us anymore, by the way, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can really make a mess of it. And it's very, very easy to do, because if you don't know for sure what it's displaying, this is where it gets confusing. So here's the deal. I'm going to press F3.
First name 324 combo box. Company name 424 combo box.
And what you hear as I tab through is it announcing the field names twice. There was a reason for that, because what this is doing is it's matching up the internal fields of the Polaris Address Manager with the CSV files. I can actually change this. So if I press space 4 here,
Title 524 combo box.
okay, now I'm going to tab forward.
Title 524 combo box.
And I'm going to shift tab back.
Company name, Title 524 combo box.
So you see this actually changed. So now the company name field is actually matched with title, which is not what you want. So this is where it gets confusing, because if you press space 1 and space 4, you're actually changing the choices. You're changing what matches with what. When you're pressing F3 and space F3, you're moving through the fields. So I'm going to press space 1.
Company name 424 combo box.
To change this back. And you know that this is what's going on, because if you look to the left on the Braille display, it says CB for combo box. This is not an edit box. It's not a list item. It's a combo box. And you want to pay attention to that, because the fact that it's a combo box means that it's making choices. But here's the deal. If you are importing from a U2 or from another BrailleSense, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to worry about this. So I'm going to actually exit out of this.
Last name, edit box.
Okay, now I'm going to do this again. And the shortcut is backspace I.
Import from CSV dialog. Acapella voices folder 126 list item.
And again, I'm going to choose it.
Contacts June, address 0 CSV 2526 list
I'll press
item.
enter.
Loading. File loaded. Import from CSV dialog. Last name 224 combo box.
So you've got all these options to match everything, but we're just going to ignore it. I'm going to press Shift Tab, space F3.
Cancel button. Confirm button.
And I'm just going to press enter.
Saving fields.
And again, it's doing its work here.
72 records saved. Last name, search address. Last name, edit box.
Okay, so that's actually all you have to do. And like I said, this is really, really important to know, because you can get lost in those lists. So if you're importing from a BrailleSense, don't worry about the lists. Really, the best thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Just go to that confirm button and press enter, and everything will be as it should be. Okay, so I'm actually going to press, now I'm in the last name field, and I'm going to press enter just to make sure that we actually did this okay.
Searching. 72 records found. Yilmaz 172 list item.
And I did, in fact, import 72 records. So this actually functioned as we expected it to function. That's great. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a CSV from another file. So again, I'm going to press backspace I.
Import from CSV dialog. Acapella voices folder 126 list item.
Okay, and now
contacts June 27th, 2019 at 5:01 p.m. CSV 2626 list item.
I'm going to choose another CSV, a contacts file. This one I actually used an application from my iPhone to create. I'm not going to demonstrate that because it's actually really complicated, but I was experimenting. So here we go. I'm going to press enter on this.
Loading. File loaded. Import from CSV dialog. Last name 29 combo box.
So you may remember that I had about 24 fields when I was doing the last one. Now I only have 9 because I chose specific fields from the iPhone contacts, and I made those match. So again, I'm going to press tab.
First name 39 combo box.
Okay, and again, this is matching my iPhone fields to the fields in the Polaris.
Company name 49 combo box.
These are all good.
Title 5 9 combo box.
Again, good.
Mobile phone 6 9 combo box.
Again, good.
Home phone number 1 9 combo box.
Okay, so now we get something interesting. So it has home phone, which is in the Polaris, and it matches to number, which is the iPhone contacts are actually numbered when they're exported. So that actually doesn't work. So let me do this. I'm going to use space 4.
Last name 2 9 combo box. First name 3 9 combo box. Company name 4 9 combo. Title 5 9 combo box. Mobile phone 6. Work phone 7 9 combo box. Home email 8 9 combo box. Work email 9 9 combo box.
Okay, so these are the options that I've got.
Home email work phone 7 9 combo box.
So this is probably going to be the closest. Unfortunately, there isn't an exact match. So I'm going to tab forward so you can see what I did.
Home fax number 1 9 home phone work phone 7 9 combo box.
So I have home phone matched to work phone, and I believe the work phone actually is the iPhone label and home phone is our label. Either way, what this allows you to do is change which fields match which fields in the Polaris. So which fields from your CSV match which fields from your Polaris. And this makes more sense when you're looking at something that doesn't exactly match. It's actually a little bit more confusing when you're viewing Braille Sense to Braille Sense because you're not sure when you're tabbing and when you're pressing space 1 and space 4, you're seeing the exact same thing. Now you can see that things are a little bit different and you can see how they match up. So I basically just wanted to show you that. Hopefully that is not as clear as mud. I hope it's a little bit clearer than that, but if it's not, we'll let you ask questions later and we can of course explain that. So this is one way to handle it. And this is most useful, actually these days, it's most useful when you are importing from Braille Sense to Braille Sense. When you are using other sources, there are actually other ways to do it. Earl and I will talk both a little bit about that. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this for the moment.
UMAS 172 list item.
Okay, so now there's one other thing that I want to talk about, and this is the exporting to CSV. This is really, really important because the one thing that all of us have learned from trial and error, especially when you're trying to sync from other sources and you're figuring it out, and this is nothing to do with Polaris, it's just figuring out because different phones, different sources, whether it's Outlook, the field names are different. There are various, so getting everything to match can sometimes be interesting until you figure it out. So if you already have contacts in your Polaris, before you do anything, I highly, highly suggest that you export your current list to CSV so that if something goes awry, you can always restore it. So I'm going to press F2 to open the menu.
Add address, enter a menu item.
And I'm going to go down.
Modify address, select all, delete address, print address, save address as file, set address search fields, import from CSV, export to CSV, X, dialog backspace X menu item.
Okay, and there's this option, export to CSV. I'm going to press enter.
Export to CSV dialog. File name, address 1 CSV edit combo box.
And I already have an address 0.csv, so that's why it's naming it address 1. So I can create my backup. This is going to save in the root of the flash disk.
Acapella voices folder 126 list item.
Unless, of course, I want to change that. I just press space F3 and I'm in my normal File Explorer control. So I could save that somewhere else if I wanted to.
File name, address 1 CSV edit combo box.
This is just a normal file save as dialog. Again, I tabbed forward.
Confirm button.
And I'll press enter on confirm.
Saving.
And now it's creating the CSV.
Save complete. UMAS 172 list item.
Okay, so like I said, we really, really highly encourage you before you try any of what we're going to show you today to back this up because, as I said, it can go awry really easily, but if you've done this, you can always restore it using the import function that I just showed you, and everything will be just fine. A couple other quick things that I want to point out. one neat little trick that you can do if you have existing accounts, Earl's going to talk about handling this with the iPhone. But if, for example, you want to sync with Outlook, it's very, very simple, actually. If you install the Outlook application for Android on your Polaris and set up your account, it's basically done. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to use Outlook for Android. But if you set up your account, you can then automatically synchronize your contacts and calendar. Basically, anything that syncs with the Google or Android calendar will come into the Polaris contacts and or address manager and schedule manager. I'm going to show you a couple of things really quick about how to deal with that in the Android settings so you can actually ensure that this does happen. But for the most part, it is very, very simply done. It's the same way if you sign in to a Google account. For example, I've signed into my Selvis HC account, which uses the G Suite. Again, now all my appointments automatically come in. So much of this will happen automatically if you have things synced with a Google account, or if whatever you're doing will sync with the Google or Android calendars. Again, if you've got, you can also install an Exchange email app and again, sign in with your account and it again will automatically go. Okay, so I am rambling.
File Manager, F.
I'm returning to the main menu and now I want to go to Settings.
Set time and date, T.
And I'm gonna go to Android System Settings. It's taking a minute to open.
Wi-Fi enter key to select.
Okay, there we go. Okay, now I need to jump down to the personal section. It's not on the
Personal.
and I'm going to tab forward from here.
Location enter key to select. Security enter key to select.
It's on the next screen down, so come on.
Accounts enter key to select.
And accounts is where I want to go, so I'm going to press enter.
Button navigate up enter key to select. Accounts. Button search enter. Button more options enter. List duo enter key to select. List Google enter key to select. List Prime Video enter key to select.
So I can see all of my accounts here. If I don't have Skype set up on this one, but I would see Skype or WhatsApp or anything that I had set up, I would see right here. And what's really cool about that is a lot of those contacts too can automatically sync. Skype, for example, if you have sync enabled, it will automatically synchronize with your Android account. So you can actually get contacts from other services as well. I'm going to go back to Google.
List Google enter key to select.
And I'm going to press enter here.
List accounts. List sync enabled. Jaxler1gmail.com. Last sync 6/25/2025. 3 a.m. enter key to select.
Okay, and you can hear what it's saying is sync enabled. And if I want to be very specific about what syncs, I'm going to press enter.
Button navigate up enter key to select. Sync. Button search enter key to select. Button more options enter key to
And I'm just-
Jaxler1gmail.com.
I'm tabbing forward.
Google. Switch on calendar. Last sync 6/24/2029. 41 a.m. enter key to select.
Okay, so these are just switch boxes.
Switch on contacts. Last sync 6/24/2025. 55 p.m. Switch on docs. Last sync 6/24/2029. 41 a.m. Switch on drive. Last sync 6/23/2025. 33 p.m. enter key to select.
So this lets you choose very specifically what is synchronized and what is not from each account. Depending on what type of account you're looking at will depend on the options you have. Of course, with Google, you've got Drive and you've got, contacts, calendar, everything. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that because there's one more thing that I want to show you about making sure this all
Android
works.
system settings. E. Settings. S.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is go into all apps and go into the Android contacts.
11,000 quotes. Saying status. Calendar. Camera. Cam find. Chrome. Classroom. Contacts.
And I have a lot of C's. All right, so we're going to open the
Contacts.
contacts.
List favorites enter key to select. List all contacts enter key to select.
Okay, and again, I am tapping forward.
Button search enter key to select. Button more options enter key to select.
And this is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go into more options.
Contacts to list contacts to display enter key to select.
So it gives me this option, contacts to display. And again, I'm going to press enter here.
Contacts. List all contacts enter key to select. Radio button checked. List duo. Duo enter key to select. Radio button not checked. Press the enter key to toggle.
So now I have all these different accounts that I saw. So even though they're synced, you may not see them. And here's why. You do have to make sure that in this contacts to display, they're showing.
List Google. Jaxler1gmail.com enter key to select. Radio button not checked. Press the enter key to toggle.
So I actually have this turned off. So right now,
List Google. JennySilvashC.com enter key to select. Radio button not checked. Press the enter key to toggle.
All of these are actually turned off. So the only thing that I'm seeing are things that I've imported. So again, you do want to make sure, and this is similar to groups on the iPhone, you can actually choose to show or hide them. And this is basically the same kind of setting. So again, and the calendars are very similar. You can choose what appointments you see and what you don't. So I just kind of wanted to point that out, that just because everything's synchronized, if you're not seeing them, check the settings in your contacts and calendar apps for Android. And again, whatever is displayed in Android should actually show up in your Polaris Schedule Manager and your Polaris Address Manager. Okay, I think I've covered everything that Earl asked me to cover, and possibly a little bit more, and I hope I didn't overlap into your own presentation there.
Okay, yeah, if you did. Thanks for joining us today. Let's go ahead and open it up for questions. I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I wasn't sure, because I couldn't hear if I was muted or unmuted. So that is awesome. So you're saying that the ability to import from your YouTube to your Polaris is a little bit hit and miss, if I understand. Is that? I'm kidding.
No, I'm saying no, it's not. You just got to know what you're doing.
It actually works every time. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, you'll have
on my
File Manager.
the Windows side here.
Did I overlap too much into what you plan to do?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm just giving you a hard time. That's what I do. Okay, so do we have visual, Thomas?
Yes.
We do, okay. Okay, so I'm on my Polaris here. And some of what I'm going to be showing isn't even something that you'd be looking at on the screen. But before I get into this part, that's been assigned to me, I'm going to just kind of offer a little bit of the disclaimer, and that's because of the highly personalist nature of these personal devices, the iPhones and the Polaris. There's really not a way we can help folks with it and support, but we can't spend a lot of time like helping people get their contacts synchronized and their between their iPhones and their Polarises and things like that. But what we can do is point you in the direction and get you started, hopefully, and get you where you need to be. Now, last week we had a caller who that was during our Q&A, who asked about the ability to use the G lady. I won't say the word because it'll just think I want something right now. And she was asking the Polaris she wanted to synchronize her calendar appointments, and she wasn't able to do that because she'd asked, what are the calendar appointments for today? And it would say, give her some web reference instead of actually giving her the appointments. So in my case, it's okay, Google, what are my calendar appointments for today?
Google
Sorry,
Assistant.
I
No
can't
matching
find
events found
anything on your
Google
calendar for then.
Mm-hmm. Until I installed the Google Assistant, so I went to the Play Store and I actually just typed in Google Assistant. It came right up. I installed it. Then it started referencing my personal calendar. So if you're having an experience where it's just trying to take you to some website and you're asking for some information, you would probably want to try downloading the Google Assistant. So now I'm going to go ahead and wake up my iPhone here.
Zoom audio, 1 hour, 2 minutes, 50 mute, keypad, dimmed, button.
And let's see where we are here.
Wednesday, 4:32 p.m. Wednesday, do not disturb, calls and notifications will be silent until 2.
Okay. And I'm going to say just a simple thing. Let's see, what should I do? Oh,
Google Calendar, Wednesday, June 24th.
come on.
Calendar, Google Calendar.
Yeah, I'm holding down the home button and it's not.
Google Calendar, clock,
doing
4:33 p.m.
anything.
File, page 2 of 8, adjustable, settings.
Currently unmuted.
Try Hey Siri.
Folder, 12 apps.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey, Siri. Okay, I'm going to,
Music. AT mail and social folder. 12 apps. 41.
let's see if I don't have any Wi-Fi
Calendar. Wednesday.
here.
Google Calendar. Calendar. Wednesday, June 24th. Clock. 4:33 p.m. Visual apps folder. Weather. Radio weather. Visual clock. Calendar. Wednesday. Google Calendar.
Okay, so I'm going to unplug it because maybe the audio thing is hijacking it. Huh. And Kelly suggested that maybe the do not disturb.
AT apps phone. 3 new item. Page
hijacking
settings.
it.
Google. Settings. Google.
It couldn't just, work, right?
Google Calendar. Calendar. Wednesday, June 24th. 4 notification clock. 4:34 p.m. Dock. Phone. Page 2. Settings. Google. Settings. Search. Dictate. Earl Harrison. Airplane mode. Off. Wi-Fi. Dog out. Bluetooth. On. Button.
So Bluetooth.
Cellular. Button. Personal hotspot. Off. Notification. Sounds and haptics. Do not disturb. Screen top. Do not disturb. Button.
Okay.
Do not disturb. On. Do not disturb. Silences calls and notifications. Scheduled. Off.
I'm learning something.
On. Do not disturb. Silences calls and notifications. Do not disturb. On. Off.
All right.
Do not scheduled. On.
Turn that
off. Do not disturb. Off. Do not settings. Back button. Settings.
See if
back
this
button.
makes the difference.
Settings. Heading. Currently unmuted.
Maybe temporarily stop your broadcast.
Zoom.us has new window.
I mean, they can't see it, but before you do a voice command, try to stop your broadcast and see what that does. I think that might be hijacking you as well.
Oh, Zoom.
Search. Settings. Settings. Heading. Display and brightness. Button. App switcher. Active. Settings. Active. Zoom. Active. Action. App 3 of 5. Center of screen. Swipe up with contact sync. Active. Calendar. Active. Calendar. Active. Contact. Zoom. Active. Actions available. Closing contact sync. Active. Calendar. Contact sync. Active. Active. Settings. Active. Contact sync. Active. Calendar. Active.
That's a good
Calendar.
thought.
Contact. Settings. Active. Settings.
Cancel.
There's nothing to cancel.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Mike, you're so smart. Gosh.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're sorry that you're smart. Get back up on the roof and keep tearing those shingles off.
Yeah, we're ripping them
You are
off
currently
as we
on
go
text
here.
So, okay, so that's exactly my Zoom broadcast was actually hijacking the Siri feature. So, schedule a calendar appointment called Barbecue with Kelly for 6 o'clock today.
You have 8 contacts named Kelly. Could you be more
Oh
specific?
my, Kelly Harrison.
Your appointment with Kelly Harrison called Barbecue is for today from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
Ready to schedule it?
Yes.
Currently unmuted.
Can I come too?
Kelly Harrison for today from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. The appointment is called Barbecue.
Absolutely, Mr. Tindall. For that, I owe you the ribeye, that 24-ouncer. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and wake up my little Polaris here, and let's see if that's already been. So first of all, let me just say that in order to synchronize these appointments, I could have brought you into the calendar of the iPhone and shown you all the different options that I have. Some of them are like remnants of past phones. In fact, I haven't gone in and cleaned up very well. So rather than muddy the waters with doing that, just suffice it to say that it's very simple to identify the calendar. In this case, I've just got my Google Calendar selected on the iPhone, and I'm sharing that with Kelly so she can see what's going on from today. Today, we see each other's calendars, and I can say, okay, Google,
Polaris, list five.
what are my
Google,
calendar
swipe up to see your
appointments for
update center pin to
today?
select.
There's one entry
Google
for
Assistant, June
today.
24th.
At 6 p.m., you have barbecue.
So you see that? Just pretty instantaneous there. And I'm going to go ahead and
File Manager, F.
go into the organizer here.
Address Manager, A. Schedule
Go
Manager,
into
S.
Scheduler.
Solar Calendar,
And
one
see
events
if we have
Wednesday, June 24th, 2020 edit combo box. Owner Calendar, Horace O'Neill
any
Gmail.com,
information
1
about
8 list
that.
item. Calendar name, Horace O'Neill Gmail.com, 2 8 list item. Start date, Wednesday, June 24th, 2023, 8 list item.
And so not only did
Start time, 06, 0 p.m. for 8 list item.
did it synchronize with Google Calendar here, but it also, of course, pulls that information into the scheduler for the Polaris.
And Alexa.
Oh, Alexa, what are my appointments for today?
Today, there are 2 events remaining. At 6 p.m. there's barbecue, and at 6 p.m. there's barbecue.
Oh, so it must be because we're sharing 2 calendars, the
US has new window.
iPhone calendar and the Google calendar. Yes, Miss Mike, is that you?
Oh, that is me. Can you hear them? They're right there. See, there they are. I just wanted to quickly say that so that we understand what one of the things that you're doing there. You did go under settings in your phone, correct? And you chose your Google Calendar to be your calendar that's selected.
Yeah,
Under
actually,
calendar. Is that correct?
you actually do it right from within the calendar. Because there's every calendar that you've ever created or that's been, like calendars in the United States and things like that, they're either selected or unselected. And right there, you can just go in and change it.
Got it. So yeah, so under,
Zoom.us has new window.
edit calendar is where you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just wanted to point that out so that people got the idea.
Okay. Yeah. So do I dare share my iPhone screen again, or should I just go ahead and do the audio thing? I think I'm just going to stick with the audio because we learned something about how it hijacks things.
Listen button. Help button.
To get past that for next time.
Settings.
So the next thing I'm going to do, so that's calendar, which is really, really handy because, you've always got things listening and if you want, you can ask it what the events of the day are and it'll just tell you. And then if you want to see things in detail, you can just go and look. So for example,
settings, search field. I
am going to go ahead. I've got an application, Jenny was talking about how things automatically sync. I've had so many phones, and I think a lot of you are probably in the same place, where you move from device to device and things are getting simpler with transferring data, especially with the iPhone, but things can still be a little messy.
App switcher, settings active,
so
actions available.
What I like to do is I'm going to go ahead and connect my Braille display. Open VoiceOver settings.
Let's take a look at the settings for VoiceOver.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead.
Speaking rate, speak, Braille, audio, Braille.
Go to Braille.
Contracted button.
And go to my terminal for screen reader here.
Task name, terminal for screen reader. Terminal mode static box.
Yeah, I already had it running, so theoretically I could just go in here and
Braille output, contract, Braille heading. Out in Braille tables, status cells button, equations used method code, show on screen keyboard, turn word wrap on, alert display, KT bouncer, choose in prop, Braille EDG 840, more info button, selected, Braille Sense P3700, selected, Braille Sense P3717, connecting. Selected, Braille Sense P3717, connected button.
Because what's really nice about this now is I can actually go back and forth between my Polaris and the phone. In fact, why don't I go ahead? Yeah, I'm still sharing that. So probably all you're seeing now is terminal for screen reader.
More info button. Actions.
But I'm going to go ahead and do the command to bring up my app switcher, which is space H.
App switcher. Settings active.
And I'm going to
Actions
go
available. Settings active. Contact sync active.
In something called contact sync here.
Contact sync. Main sync button. Contact sync. Sync heading.
It's a free app. When I got it, it was a free app, and it was a long time ago. And if you've got different different things that from different sources, this is a great way to be able to kind of manage those things. So let me go ahead and shoot down to the bottom of this window.
Settings
here.
tab 4 of 4. Clean tab 3 of 4. Settings tab 4 of 4.
Just to let you see the different tabs that exist within this really handy utility. You've got settings, and we won't go in there just yet.
Clean tab 3 of 4.
And as you're going through the process of synchronizing your contacts and your data, it is prompting you to do the things that we're seeing in these tabs. So you'll see as I go through it, it'll say, hey, you might want to consider cleaning up your contacts, which I have done, merge duplicate contacts and things like that.
Backup. Tab 2 of 4.
They'll encourage you as a last step before you synchronize your contacts. It'll say, it'll basically prompt you to back up your data before you continue on. So at every corner, it's trying to get you to do things that to encourage you not to lose data.
Selected. Sync. Tab 1 of 4.
And we've got the sync tab, which is what we've got selected right now. Let me go back into my contacts.
Google Calendar. Home. App switcher. Contact sync active. Action settings active. Calendar active. Calendar active. Settings contact sync active. Actions available.
So it's not in there. So I'm going to go back to my home screen.
Google Calendar.
Go
Doc,
down
music.
to my
Mail
phone.
3 new items.
Go in there, and the contacts that you see
Phone selected. All button 1 of 2.
in the phone area is the same as the one you would see if you were to go into settings.
Miss button 2. Edit button. Recent heading. Zoom outgoing. 1
so
voicemail. 3 items.
Once
Tab.
again,
Keypad.
going to
Tab.
the
Contacts.
bottom.
Tab 3 of 5.
Go into contacts, and I'm going to go ahead and add a contact here.
Recent tab 2 of 5. Selected. Contacts. Tab 3 of 5. Keypad. Tab 4 of 5.
All right.
Groups button. Add button. Text field is editing. First name. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and make up a person here. And we'll call it Aaron.
Copy.
AR sign ON, which is really nice. I can use contracted Braille.
Clear text button.
So it's
first name. Text field is editing. Aaron. Word mode. Clear text. Last name. Text field.
And let's say it's Aaron Aronson.
Insertion point at end.
So capital A, AR sign, ONSON. Aaron Aronson.
Clear text button. Company. Text field. Add phone button.
All right. Add phone.
Add phone. Text field is editing. Phone. Word mode. Insertion point at start. 3456.
612
hyphen
dash
348
dash 1 2 3 4
1 2 3 4.
Okay. So
6. Clear text button. Text field is editing. 612-348-1234. Insertion point at end.
All right.
Actions
So
available.
I've added Aaron Aronson and a phone number.
Cancel button. New contact heading. Done button.
And I'm going to say yes. I'm done doing this.
Edit. Contacts back button.
And now I'm going to go back into my app switcher.
Dock phone. Home.
And
mail and social folder. 12 apps. 42 items. AT apps folder. 12 apps.
Oh, app switcher.
Home. Google Calendar.
I guess
app switcher.
You have to really
phone
kind of
active.
do it fast.
Actions available. Phone active. Contact sync active.
And I'll go back into contact sync.
Contact sync. Contact sync. Sync heading.
And I'm going to tell it to go ahead.
Main sync button.
And do the main sync.
Main sync. Sync contacts. iPhone contacts 0. Gmail sync back button. Review contacts heading.
All right, so it said 0, but it
sync,
wasn't
back button,
finished.
Sync back button. Review contacts heading. iPhone contacts 433 button.
So 433 contacts.
Gmail contacts 792 button. Before continuing synchronization, you can manage your iPhone and Gmail contacts and groups. Next.
And I'm just going to say next. What I've done it as a part of the backup, or as a part of this application, I have created a CSV file before I started messing around with all of this stuff, just to have a nice solid backup.
Before continuing synchronization, we recommend that you clean up your iPhone and Gmail contacts.
And cleanup is another option. We don't have a lot of time to go into the cleanup, but it does give you the ability to, it has a lot of stuff in there.
Clean button.
That you can clean up. For example, if you've got a bunch of contacts in there without any phone number, you might say, well, why would I want that on my phone? There's no phone number. And you can elect to get rid of those. There might be duplicate contacts that you would want to, has the same information. You might want to merge it into one contact and that kind of thing. It works pretty well.
Continue. Cancel button.
You got to be careful though, folks.
Continue button.
So I'm gonna continue with this.
Review contacts back button. Sync directions heading.
And sync directions. So you want to go from the Google.
Sync directions heading. Gmail less than greater than iPhone.
Gmail to iPhone.
Gmail 3 hyphens greater than selected. iPhone 3 hyphens greater than Gmail.
Or
next.
Gmail to let's see.
Selected. iPhone 3 hyphens greater than Gmail. Next.
iPhone to Gmail. We're going to go that direction.
Gmail 3 hyphens greater than iPhone. Sync directions back button. Prepare sync heading. iPhone 3 hyphens greater than not update. Do sync.
And it says, sounds like it says desync, but it says do sync actually. And I'm going to go ahead and press
do sync. Alert attention.
And now it's giving me one more chance.
We recommend that you back up before the sync contacts.
Yeah, back up before the sync contact.
Back up button.
It's like,
Continue button.
well, I don't know. And we'll just say
Button
continue.
back button. Pop alert. Sync succeeded.
And I get the message that sync succeeded. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Polaris side of things.
Terminal for screen reader, S.
And theoretically, do we have visual, Thomas, here?
File manager, F.
I'm going to go to the organizer here.
Address manager, A.
And I'm in the address manager.
Search address.
And if I press enter
Last name, edit box.
on this, just to pull up my entire address list.
Searching. 432 records found. 2 guys in a toolbox, 1 432 list item.
There's 2 guys in a toolbox.
Aaron Aronson, 2 432
And
list
there's
item.
Aaron Aronson in my contacts on my Polaris, which was not there previously. So that is contact sync. Yes, you can get things to automatically synchronize when you've set up Google properly on the Polaris and whatever device, whether it be a iOS device or another Android device. But this contact sync application is a wonderful little utility to help clean up some of that. Okay, one more thing that I want to talk about, and I can really only I can do this and really just talk without demonstrating, because everybody knows that you put it in one place and the whole definition of synchronization is boom, there it is in another place. Talking to Jenny last week, and the beauty of these webinars is that we're doing them because of some really unfortunate situations where a lot of us are at home and things like that. But man, are we learning a lot. For example, I know that you can use OneDrive on the Polaris, and it works, but it's a little bit of a challenge. Let's just call it that. But if you install a little app, another free utility called OneDrive Sync, what happens is when you set that application up, it'll actually put a folder at the root directory of your flash drive called OneDrive or OneSync, or let me see, let me find it here.
File manager, F.
File manager.
Flash disk 13 list item.
It's on the flash disk.
ACB 2020 OneSync files folder 2132 list item.
OneSync file folder, and that identical named file folder is now in your OneDrive folder. Remember, we said if you had a 365 account, you could get a terabyte of space, and this is where all my stuff goes now, because it's just so much space. I'll never probably ever use a terabyte, but when I want to hone in on a specific document, maybe it's a spreadsheet that I want to take with me on my Polaris, all I have to do is pull it into that OneSync folder, and it just magically synchronizes with my Polaris, and I've got it there as well. So that is a little bit about OneSync. And I know that, Thomas, we were going to be moving on to you. You were going to talk a little bit about a couple of the other players out there in the synchronization space.
That is correct. All right, I'm going to take over here and start sharing my screen. Sound good?
Take away.
All right. All right, so I should be sharing my screen now. And I'm going to discuss using Dropbox and Google Drive. So there's a few different ways to do both. I'm going to show you a couple different ways, and then really highlight one of the big benefits of the Polaris, something that we've worked really hard on, and hopefully you have the latest firmware and you've been able to experience this yourself. So first I'm going to go ahead and start off with Dropbox.
Voice on. File manager, F.
And Earl or Jenny, can you let me know if my volume's good?
Voice volume 9.
Sounding good.
It's fine. I'm not cool.
All right. So I'm going to start off with Dropbox. So I'm on my file manager. I'm going to go into all apps.
APK Cure.
And then I'm going to go ahead and press D.
Docs.
And I'm going to scroll down to Dropbox.
Download Drive. Dropbox.
Press enter here.
Button upgrade for more space. Press the enter key to run.
All right, and now I'm in the Dropbox app. So one of the great things about the Dropbox app is that you can use first letter navigation. However, if you're not used to using Dropbox, there are a couple little things that you will find that you'll learn. When you're using Dropbox, if you're in the home section, that includes your files. It also includes shared files with you, and that also includes your recent files. So there's a lot of different things in the home section. When I'm going into Dropbox to find a document, I usually go into Files. So to get there, go ahead and press the letter F.
Files tab, enter key to select.
And then I can just go ahead and press Enter.
Files tab selected. Enter key to select.
All right, so I pressed enter and it said Files tab selected. It didn't change focus over to the files. Now I have two folders in there. I have a folder called Drop Sync Files, which I'll talk about later. And then I also have a folder called Polaris, or misspelled, Polaris Guide Word Format. Like I said, it uses first letter navigation, but not like you would think. If I went to the Drop Sync Files folder, you would think to press the letter D. However, Dropbox labels everything. So before Drop Sync Files, it says folder Drop Sync Files. So I could press the letter F.
Folder, Drop Sync Files, enter key to select.
And then if I wanted to go into the other folder, I could either just tab down.
Button, more options for Drop Sync Files, enter key to select. Folder shared, Polaris Guide Word Format, enter key to select.
Or I could have just pressed F again. So that's all fine and dandy. If I wanted to go ahead and insert or enter into the folder, I could just press enter on it.
Polaris Guide Word Format, heading.
And as always, I can navigate pressing F3.
Button 3 mem, button share, press the enter key to run. Button sort by name. Button grid view, enter key to select. Polaris Guide Word Format. Folder, File Manager, enter key to select.
And I'm actually going to go down to basic commands for Polaris. I'm just going to press F a couple times.
Folder, helpful how to, enter key to select. Folder, word processor, enter key to select. File, basic commands, Polaris docs, 22.1 kilobytes, modified 1 year ago, enter key to select.
So it said file, basic commands, Polaris. If I go ahead and press enter here.
Drop button open with enter key to select.
And give it a second to open. Now, visually what I get is an overview of the document, and that's fine and dandy, but what you really want to do is download it. So I can press space with 1, 2, 3 to jump to top.
Button back, enter key to select.
And then I can press F3 to navigate over to the menu option where I'm going to find the download.
Button basic commands, Polaris.docs, enter key to select. Button copy link, enter key to select.
It's a little bit time consuming to get there, so if you just press the letter M.
Button more options, enter key to select.
Takes me straight to more options, and I can press enter here.
File, basic commands, Polaris docs, 22.1 kilobytes, modified 1 year ago.
And then within this list, there's a number of different options that I could choose from. I could choose to move, I could choose to open with, I could choose to export, share, I could copy link, virtually everything that you'd ever want to do with Dropbox. I'm going to go ahead and show export real quick. So I'm going to press the letter E.
Export, enter key to select.
And I'm going to press enter.
List save to device, enter key to select.
From here, I could go ahead and save to this device, but I do have some other options.
List Bluetooth, enter key to select. List Gmail, enter key to select. List Mapria print, enter key to select.
So you get the gist. I also have save to drive, send to Zoom buddies, and I can also share with Dropbox. I want to go ahead and save to this device. I'll scroll back up with spacing dot 1.
List Bluetooth, enter. List save to device, enter key to select.
I'll press enter here.
Documents, button, list recent, enter key to select.
And now I have a dialog window where I get to choose where I want to save this to. So I can press F3 to navigate it, or I can press the letter I to jump straight to internal storage.
List internal storage, 44.41 gigabytes free, enter key to select.
I'll press enter here.
List internal storage. List.clipboard, April 16th, 2019, enter key to select.
Now, one of the nice things about this interface is that pressing enter on the internal storage took me into the folders within the internal storage. So I could go ahead and navigate this with F3. The problem that you run into is when you get to the bottom of the list, the visible list, that it will actually loop back around. So you have to do a scroll to get to some of the folders below what's being visually displayed on the device. So I do that by pressing space with dots 3, 4, and 5.
List Android, May 26, enter key to select.
And then I can go ahead and navigate down to documents by pressing F3, or I could press the letter D.
List Daisy, November 5th. List Database, June 10th. List DCIM, June 18th. List Documents, 1:26 p.m. Enter key to select.
And I'll press enter here.
List Mark, 1:19 p.m.
All right, and now I'm in the folder I want to save this to. I want to get to the Save button. And to do this, I'll just press the letter S until I reach Save.
List SD card, 13 point, button save, press the enter key to run.
I'll press enter to save it.
Drop, button more, basic commands, Polaris.docs exported.
All right, and now it's been saved to my flash disk. And that's all fine and dandy. There are a couple better ways of doing this though, and I'm gonna show some of those real quick here. So I'm gonna press F1.
File Manager, F.
And there's an app that syncs your Dropbox account to your Polaris device. And you can find that in all apps by pressing the letter A. After downloading it, it'll be in your all apps. I'll press D.
Docs.
And I'm going to scroll down to DropSync. That's DROPSYNC.
Downloads, Drive, Dropbox, DropSync.
And I'll go ahead and press enter here.
Drop list status, enter key to select.
Now, within DropSync, because we're running a bit short on time, I'm not going to show everything that's in here. But what you really want to do, once you have DropSync set up and running, you're going to have the option to auto sync. And depending on your plan, it is a paid app for certain features, but the free app does virtually everything. With the free app, it does an auto sync for every hour. But within DropSync, there is an option to sync manually. I can press the letter S.
List sync history, enter key to select.
Again.
List synced folders, enter key to select.
And one more time.
Sigma Computing. Sigma Computing, enter key to select.
Nope.
Sigma Computing, enter key to DropSync. Button sync now, enter key to select.
I'm sorry, I had to jump to top. So press space with 1, 2, 3, and then press the letter S to get to sync now. And what I'm actually going to do is switch over to my computer real quick. And I have Dropbox open on my computer. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag a Word doc from my computer into the DropSync folder. So I'm at dropbox.com through my web browser. DropSync creates a folder called DropSync Files through my Dropbox application. I've got it placed into DropSync folder here on my computer. If I go back to my Polaris, I'll press sync now. Oops.
Sigma Computing, the only no-code analytics solution for the cloud. Empower everyone to explore data. Sigma Computing. DropSync.
Thomas, is that folder, that DropSync folder, it's physically on your
Drop
PC?
List status, enter key to select.
The
DropSync now, enter key to select. Task name, DropSync to DropSync.
So the DropSync folder is in my Dropbox account online in the cloud. If I had it syncing to my computer, it would also sync to my computer, yes.
Currently unmuted.
Thank you.
So I'll press sync now. All right, and I'm gonna press F1.
File Manager, F.
And I'm gonna press enter on File Manager.
Flash disk 1.3 list item.
I'm gonna go to my flash disk.
APK Pure folder 121 list item.
And I wanna go to DropSync.
Email folder, DropSync files folder 621 list item.
Press enter here.
No items list item.
And let's see.
Task name, file, task name. Button sync now, enter key to select.
Let's go ahead and sync it
Now,
again.
you want to press your routing button on
Name,
that.
DropSync 2.3 list item. Task name, task, no items list item.
Go back out.
DropSync files
I'll
folder
press enter on
621 list
DropSync.
item. No items list item.
Something's going on here. So you manually sync it, and whatever is in the DropSync file folder on your Dropbox account will sync automatically to your device, and it will be stored offline, which is quite nice.
So Thomas, are you pressing enter on it, or are you pressing the cursor routing button on the sync now button?
I'm pressing enter.
Try the cursor routing button.
Sure.
Task name, task name, DropSync 2-3 list item. DropSync. Button sync now, enter key to select.
Okay. So it completed. It just doesn't give you an audio notification that it's been completed.
I see, and that was the same when you press enter on it. It's just being slow about it.
Yeah, if I navigate.
Button more options, enter key, list status, enter key to select.
I could go to my sync status.
List sync history, list synced folders.
And let me go ahead and get out of some of these ads.
Fred Meyer, enter key to select. List upgrade, enter key to select. Sync status, last sync, 2020-06-2415-03-54, ended at 2020.
All right, so I could get to my sync status, and I can read that it was synced. So if I go back to
DropSync 2-3 list item.
My file manager.
Task name, no items list item.
It's not in there. All right, let's go ahead and
get out of there and get back into it.
Yeah, hit F1 and go all the way out.
Button, Dropbox, button basic, file manager, F.
Press enter on file manager.
Flash disk 1-3 list item.
Press enter on flash disk.
APK pure folder 121 list item.
Navigate to DropSync.
Daisy folder 321 list documents, download DropSync files folder 621 list item.
Press enter.
No items list item.
And no items.
Beautiful. That's the no items document that you put in there.
Type all files 1-8 list item.
Oh well.
No items list item.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on. It was working. I tested it about a half hour before we started the webinar, so that's how.
It's always when Zoom always screws everything up. I know that.
It's Zoom.
USB debugger connected. Touch to disable USB debug. Delete complete. USB file manager.
So next thing I'm going to actually show is Google Drive, and this is where the Polaris really shines. So for those of you that are not aware, we have implemented our own proprietary Google Drive application. I'm going to quickly demonstrate how to use Google Drive, just the Google app, just to quickly demonstrate how difficult it is, and then show you ours. And this is a huge benefit for anybody who's using a Polaris. So I'm at the main menu on File Manager. I'm going to open up All Apps by pressing the letter A.
APK Pure.
And then I'm going to go to Drive. I'll press the letter D.
Docs.
Scroll down.
Download Drive.
Press Enter.
Drive. Google Drive. Enter key to select.
And now I'm in Google Drive. And when I'm using Google Drive, the actual app, there's a few things that I prefer to do. The first is I actually like to go into the menu here by pressing the letter M.
Button more navigation options. Enter key to select.
I'll press Enter here. And then I'm going to go ahead and use jump to the recents option here. I can navigate by pressing F3 or space 4-5, but I'll just press the letter R.
Recent enter key to
I'll go
select.
ahead and press Enter here.
Drive. Button more navigation. Button back enter key to select.
And now I have a list of all of my recent documents. I could use first letter navigation in here. I'm going to go back to that same Thomas Simpson bio. I could press the letter T.
Thomas Simpson, Asia 2020 Biodocs.
All right, now that I'm in focus, I'll just press Enter here.
Drive.
And while it's opening...
Open Thomas Simpson, Asia 2000.
Right.
Edit box disabled. Press Enter to enter or edit text.
All right, so now that it's open, it's actually in a preview type mode where I can actually edit it. But of course, what we actually want to do is get this into a format that's going to be a little bit more accessible. I can download this. I'll press the letter M.
Button more options. CTRL Alt O. Press the Enter key to run.
So I'm at the more options. I'll press Enter.
More options. Switch off mute entries and exit center key to select.
I'm going to navigate to share and export by pressing the letter S.
Switch off suggest changes. Enter key to list selection control. Open list share export. Open subpalette. Enter key to select.
All right, I'm to share export. I'll press enter.
Button back. Enter key to select.
And then from here, I could choose to send a copy. I could choose to save as, or I could choose to make a copy. I'll press M to get to make a copy.
List make a copy. Enter key to select.
Press enter.
Copy document to.
So from here, I could choose to copy the document to Google Drive or the device.
Checkbox check Google Drive. Press the enter key to toggle. Checkbox not check device. Press the enter key to toggle.
Press enter on device.
Checkbox check device. Press the enter key to toggle.
And then I'll navigate to save and press enter.
Button save. Press the enter key. Thomas button navigate documents.
All right. We have the exact same interface that I demonstrated for Dropbox. This is a common Android download interface. So I'll navigate to internal storage and then press enter, and then navigate to the folder, press enter, then navigate to save and press enter. To save time, we're going to go ahead and skip all this, and just it just downloads to your flash disk. Now that's one way of doing it. I'm going to Z-cord out of here.
Button navigate up. ESC. Enter key.
And again.
Drive.
And again.
Drive.
All right.
File manager. F.
So I'm back to my file manager.
Close all apps. File manager. F.
Close all apps. I'm going to minimize my Polaris, the visual Polaris. And I'm back in my web browser right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag a folder, or a file, I'm sorry, called sample Google Drive document directly into my Google Drive, using my web browser and my computer. So I've got that uploaded now. I'm going to go back to my Polaris. Now I'm going to navigate into the file manager by pressing enter.
Flash disk 1.3 list item.
I can navigate to Google Drive by pressing G.
Google Drive 3.3 list item.
And I can go ahead and press enter.
Button close tab. Enter key to select. Choose an account to continue to on Google Drive.
All right, so now I have to choose an account. I'm going to just press the letter T to get to my
Sign
name.
in. Google accounts. Thomas Simpson, Polaris, gmail.com. Enter key to select.
That's the one I want. I'll press enter.
Enter key to select. On Google. Sign in. Google account.
All right, now Google is going to give me a laundry list of things that it wants to access. I'm going to go ahead and press the letter A until I get to accept.
Button allow. Press the enter key to run.
Okay, it was allow. Press enter. And it takes just a second, but then it will sync right up. And then I can navigate.
Classroom folder 1.3 list item.
I'll navigate straight to sample Google Drive document. I'll press the letter S.
Sample Google Drive document .docs 3.3 list item.
I can press enter. And it takes a second.
One object's copied.
It takes a second to copy.
Sample Google Drive document .docs 3.3 list item. Loading. Sample Google Drive document .docs open.
It takes a second to copy to the device. And then once it does, it automatically opens. So I've got a document here.
Blank. This document is used to demonstrate how documents can buy. Synced across device Google Drive. What do you think?
So what do you think? All right.
Think.
Oh.
Previous line. Think question. Enter.
So what
enter.
do I think? I
Uppercase
think
G.
great.
E. A. T.
Great.
Exclamation.
All right. I can press enter with the letter S.
Saving. Save complete.
When I press
0.
enter S, it saves directly back to Google
sample
Drive.
Google Drive. Done 1 files uploaded. Great.
And real quickly, I'll just go back to my Google Drive folder in my web browser. For those of you that are sighted, I'm just going to open up the sample Google Drive document here.
Currently
And
unmuted.
Thomas, while you're doing that there, I just
Zoom.us
want
has
to
new window.
quickly add that the reason why it's saved back to his Google Drive automatically is because he opened it from Google Drive. So because he opened it from there, it downloaded to the Polaris, he could edit it, and then when he saved it, it automatically uploads back like magic.
Which is awesome and amazing. Yeah, and the reason he had to sign in there, I'm guessing that he just a firmware update, huh? At one point. And so most of the time when you go in here, you only have to really sign into Google Drive the one time, and it'll just remember it subsequently.
Yeah, I had actually done it on purpose in case we had time to demonstrate signing in process, but we're a bit short on time.
That it's yeah.
And
All right.
one thing to actually to Mike's point, yeah, when you save the file, it always saves it with the same name to the same location as you opened it. You can choose Save As to give it a different name, and that will upload a new copy of the document with the new name. And then you could also choose to change the location of the name as well. So if you choose Save As, it will create a separate document and will leave the original document intact.
So if you're doing collaborative work with somebody, you might press space S instead of Enter S, because Enter S automatically saves under the same file name. Space S gets you to the Save As dialog. And maybe you just add your initials in parentheses to show that this is the version of the document that you worked on.
Perfect. All right, and I think I'm going to turn it back to Earl.
And I'm just going to go ahead and turn it right back to you because we're more than done. And I think we can go ahead and start answering questions now.
All right. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the Q&A section or raise your hand. We will call on you. So first up, we have Dan. Dan, go ahead and unmute yourself and then ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I have this new headset where there's a mute button that I could bump. If I know editing with Google Docs on a computer with a screen reader is a real pain because there are times when if you press a cursor routing key, it'll Alt-Tab, even with Braille enabled. How is editing with Google Docs on the Polaris?
Well, see, that's the beauty of it, Dan. You don't have to edit with Google Docs. You can edit in our Notepad or our word processor and just upload it to Google Drive. So in that respect, it's amazing. I mean, it's just, you don't have to. That's the whole point about Google Drive. The whole reason that HIMSS decided to develop their own app for Google Drive integration is so that you could streamline that whole process and not have to mess around with going into the individual Google apps.
Oh, I see. So you would just copy it back to Google Drive like you do like you copy any drive and then it would upload.
Yeah, you can save right from within the word processor right up to Google Drive, and then you could share that document, Google Drive link to anybody you want to, and they can access it because it's just a DOCX document, or you could save it as a DOCX.
No, but what he was showing is that it automatically copies. You don't have to manually do that. That's why it kept saying loading, because it was creating a copy locally so that it could load in the word processor. And then when it saved back, it also said loading because it was uploading back to Google Drive. So you don't have to manually do it. It automatically does it for you.
You don't have to do it in the Google apps.
Right.
Nice.
All right. That was our one and only question so far.
Let me also add that
Zoom.us has
you
new window.
can very easily copy files to your Google Drive directly from File Manager. Just copy them, paste them right up to Google Drive on the Polaris, and if you have files that are not up there yet, that's one very easy way to get them into your Google Drive.
I mean, it doesn't get any easier.
Do you have to be connected online to do that, or can you be offline and then reconnect?
Oh, you need to be online, man.
Yeah, I figured as much because it has to see the drive in the cloud.
Exactly. You have to be signed in.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan.
Yeah. Now that I'm not working, I'm here to haunt you with all the seminars.
That's good. Well, thank you for joining us.
Well, you're welcome.
All right, take care.
Too.
All right. Up next, we have John. John, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. Hey there, John. What's your question?
Currently unmuted. Zoom.us
Try
has
to
new window.
unmute there, John.
All right, John, you're unmuted. We just can't hear you. All right. So while we're waiting for John, somebody writes, you mentioned sharing files with others in Google Drive. Is there an easy way to share the file link with somebody using the Polaris? Does
Speech mode beeps. Speech mode talk.
anybody want to take this? Jenny, Mike, Earl?
Well, of course it's possible. I mean, you can, and that is probably one of those areas where the new function that we're adding, the enter backspace L, that will actually open it in the Chrome browser, because then it will automatically launch Drive and you can use your options there. So yeah, you can do it. Again, you're going to have to deal with the Google Drive interface. So
that would be a great feature to add into the embedded into the context menu on from within File Manager.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the easiest way to handle it. That's why I'm kind of hesitant. I think right now, probably the best way to deal with it would be, like I said, to use that function that I keep touting, and we really are going to release it soon, I swear. We're just trying to iron out as many bugs as we can before we give everything to you. But yeah, there's a new function that, like I said, does like it's enter backspace L, and especially if somebody sends you an email with a link, the best thing to do is actually use this function, and it will launch Chrome, which will then launch any associated Google app, or actually any associated Android app. So for example, you can use it to launch a Zoom meeting, or you can use it to launch a YouTube video, et cetera, et cetera. So you could also use it then to open up Drive. So yeah, you can do it. And then you would
share it as in the email, right? I mean, you could browse to it and.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All right. So there's another question regarding OneDrive. John writes, that sounds even easier to me. Can you just review that once more?
Which part?
The one about OneDrive.
Sure. OneDrive. First of all, you can download OneDrive and use it. To me, it was a little difficult, but you can do a search and find your files, and it synchronizes just magically. Of course, you've got OneDrive. You're signed into the account on your Polaris, and you've got it signed in on a computer somewhere, and you just drop files in there, and you can share back and forth. But with OneDrive Sync, it creates a folder called OneSync. In the computer, it's going to be within the OneDrive folder. So if you're following the path, it's would be like C:\users, whoever, in my case, Earl, and then OneDrive, and then there'll be a OneDrive Sync folder in there. You can just drop files in there. And then on the Polaris, there's a folder at the root of the flash disk called OneDrive Sync or OneSync. And as long as you're online, you can go in there and see that it just, the document you just copied and pasted into that folder is now on your Polaris. It's been synchronized.
Currently unmuted.
I'll also quickly add to what Earl just said that there is a regular OneDrive app, and I was going to actually show that today had my roof not been being ripped off. But it is very much like the Dropbox app that Thomas was showing earlier, where you can physically see your files. You can save a file directly to your internal drive, and then you could, save it back up there using the app. But using OneSync is much easier than doing it the other way. But if you don't want to have folders and just copy and paste, you can also use the native OneDrive app on the Polaris. It does work.
Yeah, I think actually I said all that.
He did.
Okay.
So, and Thomas kind of showed the same thing. It's actually exactly what Thomas showed in Dropbox, that you can use Dropbox, but it's a little bit more complicated. Using Drop Sync, he used the same thing. You can actually just check it in your file manager. So that's kind of the difference, is basically you can use the apps and you can use all the controls, and there's a lot of controls on screen and you have to figure out where you're going. If you use the sync apps, you can basically just use the file manager to copy and paste things.
All right. If you have any other questions, raise your hand or type them into the Q&A section. It's the fewest questions that we've got. That's either a good thing or a bad thing.
How many
right.
participants we have online?
We are at 23 right now. Alma writes, this was a fantastic webinar. I have another meeting to attend in 10 minutes. Will the video be shared for the attendees? Alma, yes, they will be. We're currently going through a web migration right now, so updating our website is a little bit difficult. But as soon as we have everything set up and ready to post that, then it will be on our website, hims-inc.com/webinars. All right, thank you very much, Alma. Anything else? I think we're going once, going twice.
Wow.
I think that's it.
I mean, I have a
Wow.
barbecue at 6 o'clock, so I gotta go, but
I have breakfast to eat.
this is by far the fewest questions we've ever had. So
It is.
So Thomas has already did it, but I'll do it again. Going once, twice, 3 times, and we are out of here. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending this webinar. The next webinar that we have is going to be on Friday at 4 o'clock Central, same time. And it's going to be discussing the upcoming summer conventions and all the fun things going on, albeit virtually this year. Hims has got a lot that we're working on to make it a fun experience, convention experience, including some giveaways and some things that I don't want to give away before we talk about it on Friday. So with that, I will bid you and all a good night. Be well, stay safe, and we'll see you maybe Friday.